Everyone wants the Elder Scrolls 6, and I'm here to tell you it's not even in development yet. And no, you heard me correctly. The Elder Scrolls 6 is not even in development yet. And yes, I do have evidence to support my claim. In fact, I actually have quite a lot of evidence to support my claim. Because you see, while Bethesda and Todd have pretty much stated nothing over the years about the current state of Elder Scrolls 6, they have given us a lot of information about the state and the inner state of how Bethesda is doing things and working, especially in conjunction with things like Starfield. And when you put all of that in a timeline, the Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't exist. It literally cannot exist if Bethesda and Todd have not lied about pretty much the last 10 years of their existence. Yes, it gets pretty crazy. So, recently, because of the Xbox Game Showcase, the Bethesda part, Bethesda did something that no one ever thought possible. They united gamers in what can only be described as hatred. Because we got absolutely not even the slightest news about the Elder Scrolls 6, which does not make any sense unless the game is literally 10 to 15 years away from being finished, or even close to being finished. And I think that's what's happening. Previously, I did think that there's really two possibilities. One, the Elder Scrolls 6 gets dropped pretty much this year, or it's not even 10 years close to being released. And, well, it looks like the latter because they would not lose this opportunity to showcase it. And especially because of their newer response to the criticism that gamers had. And by the way, this is just more proof. If you're a gamer, complain, criticize anyone who says that you shouldn't complain or demands constructive criticism is just a loser trying to sway you off path. This is criticism and things like that are the way that we get results. We would never have this sentence from everyone's favorite Mad Booty if people did not criticize Bethesda. And this happened yesterday. I would say one of the most challenging balancing acts of someone in a job like mine is balancing that you want to go show the world all the cool stuff you're working on and you want to get them excited early. But we also know that we can that we want to wait till the right moment. If the Elder Scrolls 6 is even close as like 2 or 3 years, they would probably show something. This is a completely normal take if we're talking about a timeline of, oh, 5 years ago we started developing something. So we're a little bit ways off, so we're not gonna just show people anything to get them unnecessarily hyped. You know, if you just started development on something, this would not apply for the Elder Scrolls. And keep in mind, all of this criticism, all of this backlash is because of the Elder Scrolls. This is just me setting up things, by the way. We're gonna go into the actual timeline in a bit. And when you decide to show it, you want it to be the best you've got. And also that when you show the game, you're also giving them a promise of, hey, it's coming soon. The irony of the fact that the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer is probably older than it is at the point where some people have grandchildren now. So I can tell you, having visited Bethesda and sat with Todd and seen Elder Scrolls playing, it looks amazing and it's fake. And it's coming along well, and we're making sure to announce it and really reveal it at the right time. All of this sounds like they have nothing to reveal, honestly, and that nothing's there. Because nothing is there. And you know how we can know it? The easiest way possible. It's what Bethesda has said themselves. Bethesda has revealed some very interesting facts about the Elder Scrolls 6 and about itself. Facts that most people kind of don't even, most of the time, think that are noteworthy. And one of these facts is that the Elder Scrolls 6 will be developed on the Creation Engine 3. The creation engine is Bethesda's in-house engine that allows all of the modding and things like that. And then the noteworthy part here is Elder Scrolls 3, Elder Scrolls 6 on the Creation Engine 3. Now, why does this matter a lot? Well, it matters a lot because Starfield, Bethesda's newest game, was made on Creation Engine 2? Huh. So, Bethesda currently has literally only one game on Creation Engine 2, and it's Starfield. And they want to do Elder Scrolls 6 on Creation Engine 3? What? That alone is confusing, but when you really start into looking the dates that we have, for example, the Starfield development timeline, it's effectively considered that Starfield has been over 7 to 8 years in development, which means that this bad boy effectively started development in roughly 2015. Okay, this means that Bethesda, for probably a couple of years before that, was developing the Creation Engine 2 so they can make Starfield and presumably the Elder Scrolls 6. And this is, by the way, also in a timeline roughly after Fallout 4, I guess would be the right time. So we have that situation, okay? So for some reason, Bethesda only wants to put Starfield on the Creation Engine 2, and then it's going to be the Creation Engine 3. How? So you're telling me if Bethesda is even halfway done at this point with the Elder Scrolls 6 and the Creation Engine is done, that means that somehow Bethesda started making Creation Engine 2, and then while the Creation Engine was freshly done and they began work on Starfield, they instantaneously started making Creation Engine 3 for no reason? I couldn't find the article, but there is also an article of Bethesda saying, we understand that Creation Engine 2 is not good enough for Elder Scrolls 6, so we're gonna upgrade it. And this is, by the way, where the Creation Engine 2.5 stuff begins. There's not a lot of information about it. I couldn't find the articles. I couldn't find the video. But the Creation Engine 2.0 is a thing because Starfield is not good enough, so they're upgrading the Creation Engine 2.0 for Starfield. Since Creation Engine 2 is a improved version of Creation Engine 1, and Creation Engine 3 is presumably an increased version and better version of Creation Engine 2, then why the fuck are they making a Creation Engine 2.5? What's the point of it? You could just shift over Starfield to Creation Engine 3 if it's already finished. But you see, it's not actually finished. That's the thing. The Creation Engine 3 doesn't exist. Because it doesn't make sense that they would do all of this thing uniquely for Starfield while they were already working on Fallout 76. They already made all of this, and they're just making two engines roughly at the same time. Because again, if Creation Engine 3 is real, and Elder Scrolls 6 has already been started, that means that they roughly finished Creation Engine 2 to make Starfield, and then the next day they started work on Creation Engine fucking 3 for some reason for the Elder Scrolls 6. And again, remember when the Elder Scrolls 6 announcement trailer was done? That would imply if they release the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, then they would at least have an engine to work on. So you're effectively telling me, if Creation Engine 3 is real, that they just decided to make Starfield on an already outdated engine for no reason. And that makes no sense. The timeline fully makes no sense. The timeline of Creation Engine and then Creation Engine 2 becoming real with Starfield is perfectly sound, logical, and understandable. But the fact that the Elder Scrolls 6 is on going to be made on Creation Engine 3 by Bethesda's birds themselves, by the way, yeah, um, it doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. It makes sense more that the Creation Engine 2.0 is going to be what they make the Elder Scrolls on. But if that's true, the Creation Engine 2.0 is kinda just ready. So, best case realistic scenario, if we're looking at the Creation Engine 2.0 upgraded version, a type of deal, that maybe the Elder Scrolls 6 has been in development for maybe a year at this point. Yes. The Elder Scrolls 6 most likely doesn't exist because of what Bethesda themselves have said about their in-house engine and its and how that's doing. It's ridiculous. So yeah, expect Elder Scrolls 6 probably in a minimum of 5 years in case Microsoft decides to put a lot of cash in that, because something strange is happening with Bethesda, because Microsoft is not punishing them for failures. And my god, do they have a fucking lot of failures currently. They do have a time to change stuff around amount of failures at this point, which is very odd. In any case, that's the situation. I hope I explained it well enough. I don't think it's too hard to understand what I'm going for here. And I do think everyone can see that, well, things, yes. In any case, have a nice day. Bye.